What's up, everybody? Pretty stoked. All my PC parts showed up, so we're gonna build a PC for my sim rig. I haven't really talked much about that. If you follow me on Instagram, you kind of know that I've acquired some parts, and it's been a few weeks in the making here. But all the PC stuff is here. All the sim stuff is here. I think. I'm still waiting on one more package, which that's fine. Cool with me. Whatever. I got enough to start, so. I'm just gonna make a quick video on the PC build. I don't know a whole lot about PC components. I know enough to build one. I built several computers, and I built one that I built like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, a long time ago. And when I built it, it was like top of the line, everything. I spent a ton of money, and it's still a very good PC, and it still can run any game. And I used to use it for Assetto Corsa and stuff when I had just a Logitech wheel. I ended up selling that wheel just because I felt like it wasn't like a very good, um, I don't know, like a very good tool, because like I had to do the wheel check mod and stuff on it, so it kind of acted more like a direct drive. But you always kind of had to throw the wheel, kind of force the wheel, and it just never like gave me a real feel. I did learn some things in that wheel. So that being said, if you do have a Logitech wheel, you can still learn things, and it's not like, you're just wasting your time, because there's a lot of things that I learned on that wheel, and there's a lot of tracks that I haven't been to yet. I drove them on Assetto with the Logitech wheel, and then when I got to that track, I was able to do okay, because I already kind of knew some of the points of initiation, and kind of you're really training your hand-eye coordination on what to do. So I kind of already knew how to throw the car into certain corners or whatever. Obviously, with the real car, you get way more inputs than with the simulator, but it definitely trains your hand-eye coordination, and you kind of just know, like, once you get out there, you've seen it before in a way. So try not to ramble too much, but I'll go through some of the PC parts that I bought, and we'll just look at that, and I'll kind of explain why I bought them. I did this kind of budget. There's a few things I bought you didn't necessarily need. There's some things I could have saved a few dollars on. But I built this PC just solely for the racing simulator, because I have a gaming laptop that I was going to use, and it was very expensive, but it's basically became my personal computer now. So I use that for all my video editing and stuff. So I didn't want to worry about storage and like always swapping it out, because like I take a laptop with me places sometimes. So I was like, you know what? We'll just build a PC, knock it out, and that PC will stay on the rig, and the only thing that PC will do is for the rig. So I won't have to worry about storage or anything else like that. Anything that goes on there is going to be something pertaining to the sim rig. So before I get too far into it, this was the PC that I built like 6 or 7 years ago. But I just thought I'd show you guys, if anybody cared. This was my PC. This is kind of what I played my sim stuff on and kind of learned. All right, so I had to open up the shades there because it was kind of dark up here, but with some better lighting now. So anyway, we'll just dive right into it here. We'll talk about the case. I got this case, very affordable. Came with 3 RGB fans here. Has the viewing window there, so obviously that will look pretty cool. Again, we don't really care about what it looks like, because we just need it to be a useful tool, but we also got to have a little bit of fun with it. So this is the case. Like I said, very affordable. Maybe if some people are interested, after this video, I'm going to release another video on kind of like what it costs, and then maybe that's when I'll do the benchmark stuff. But that's only if you guys are interested, because I don't really like to kind of like talk about money. Some of the stuff's expensive, and I don't want people to think that I'm just like, oh, I'm this big baller and I'm spending money, but because I'm not. I do this everything on a budget, make lots of sacrifices to make things happen. But anyway, this is the case. It's a full ATX motherboard mid-tower case, so it would just be your average size PC. I was going to go with a like micro ATX case, which is a very, very small case, and I was just going to cram everything into a small case and really save a bunch of money. But I thought that some of the components that I bought aren't like the strongest or the best, so they're going to be working pretty hard, so it's gonna need to cool off. So it's just like an engine or anything else. You work it hard, you got to cool it off. So this will have a larger volume of air, and I think that with the fans that I have, this case should turn itself over 10 times, pretty quickly. So the air inside the case should always be optimal temp. So getting on to things that we spent money on, we don't necessarily need to spend money on. We got these RGB fans, not only because they look cool, but this Thermaltake case came with 3 of these. So there's 3 fans inside this case already that look just like this. So I got the 3-pack here. We'll put 2 on top and 1 as the exhaust. So you'll have 6 fans that all match and it'll look good. Again, didn't really need these. Regular PC fans are fine, but we just want everything to match and it will. So I decided to go ahead and just get the motherboard out here. This is kind of a budget deal. I bought this motherboard and this processor together as a bundle through Micro Center. Very affordable. You have a 6-core, 12-thread Ryzen 5 5600X. So this is pretty beefy for what we're going to do. We should never have any kind of processing issues with this thing. It should definitely keep up. Again, this is a smaller motherboard, but it came Wi-Fi ready, which a lot of motherboards don't, and you got to buy a Wi-Fi card, or you have those stupid antennas. Like I got an antenna on my other PC, and I'll hop over there and show you guys that here in a second. And this has built-in Wi-Fi, so you don't need none of that stuff. All right, graphics card. This is a bad boy. This is really kind of outdated now, but compared to what I've been using, compared to what I have, this card is a bad boy. So it's triple fan, big deal. I wanted to keep as much air moving inside this case as possible, because if you've ever played iRacing or any kind of things like that, sometimes you're in a race for a while. Sometimes you're practicing for a while before you get into a race. So this PC is going to be running at tilt for a while. So the more airflow, the better. So wanted to get a triple fan, and I wanted to get a graphics card again, like we were talking about with this. This graphics card it won't max out. Like, I mean, obviously there's probably games that will put this on tilt and things you can do that put this on tilt, but it's going to be fine for several years. Like, it's going to be, like, it's not going to need to be upgraded next year. It's not going to be upgraded even the year after that. And this is the power supply. If you guys are looking to buy power supplies, they're kind of hard to get right now, and they're kind of expensive. Usually power supplies were fairly cheap, but you need to get something that's at least bronze rated, 80 plus bronze rated. I wouldn't buy a power supply that wasn't at least bronze rated. If it doesn't have a rating, very good chance it could cause a fire. So at least bronze 80. Remember that if you guys are ever going to build a PC or build a sim rig or whatever you want. And also 750 watts is a lot. That is a lot. Even though we have this big graphics card and all the RGB fans, really 750 watts is kind of overkill, but we got room to upgrade in the future. I mean, you could do this with a 600 watt. I mean, in reality, you could probably pull this off with a 500 watt. I don't see why you couldn't. You may run into some issues with the graphics card depending on what card you have, but I think a 500 watt power supply would run this card and this whole setup fine. But alright, so since I had to go over there and get the RAM, this is the RAM. I would suggest 16 gigabytes of RAM minimum, no matter what, at any time. I think iRacing says 8's fine. Actually, I think they say 4 gigabytes of RAM is fine. But RAM is so cheap, you might as well get 16, like minimum. This is 2 8GB sticks. If you got the budget and you got the money, I would get 2 16GB sticks and go for the 32. But again, that's with you guys. 16 is going to be plenty for what we're going to do. And that goes back to, this is only going to be for the rig. So like, this RAM is going to be fine because we're not going to have a whole lot of storage. We're not going to have a whole lot of other programs and things running. This is only going to be running iRacing or Assetto Corsa or any other kind of, I don't know, maybe a racing game. We'll see what happens. But mainly iRacing and Assetto. So that, and then here is the 1 terabyte SSD. I would definitely opt into getting SSD, especially since how cheap they're getting. You can pick one of these up for as much as you can get a hard drive for. And I wouldn't even buy a hard drive nowadays because this is lightning fast. Hard drives are way slow. Alright, so I decided to move downstairs. It's probably a little more echoey because all the hardwood floors and stuff. But anyway, it's cooler down here. I have a flat hard surface to work with. It's been a while since I built a PC, but we should be okay. So I did not know this, but this is actually tempered glass. So this is really, really good value for what I paid for this thing to actually have tempered glass on front and back. Pretty stoked about that. I didn't know. Most of the time, tempered glass, I don't really like tempered glass because I feel like it affects airflow. But it looks like there's a ton of airflow here. Goes all the way to the top, and then obviously you have your magnetic vent here. So plenty of airflow in this case. Definitely, again, I can slick for what I paid for it. My fans are a little bit different. They're a little bit different from what I bought, I think. I don't know yet because I haven't opened them up yet, but they'll still be RGB. They're still thermal take, so they should appear to be similar. But again, we don't really care about looks with this thing. We just need a tool. So quit rambling. I'm going to try to put a top-down time lapse, and we'll knock this thing out. Okay, most of the top down stuff is done. One of the drawbacks to this case that I didn't know is the little sliders here. These are actually breakaway. You bend them back and forth till you break them away. Didn't know that. All the cases I've dealt with before, they were individual little screws. You just took them off and the metal piece slid out and you could save it for later. So I don't like that about this case. But and the only reason why I don't like that about this case is because I didn't know about it. And I had a really hard time breaking the second one off because it was hitting the motherboard and actually moved one of these little capacitors. I just barely moved it, but I kind of just pushed it back. So I don't know. Hopefully it's fine. But so I guess that's something to look at. Make sure if these are breakaway, go ahead and figure out what you got to break away first. So anyway, pretty slick. I wanted to keep the all black look with the RGBs, so the Corsair stuff match, and you know the black here. So that's. stop the time lapse for a second. Talk about this power supply. I know I said it was a bronze, but it's actually a gold. I thought it was bronze, but it's actually gold. So this is, man, this is a really, really, really good setup for what it cost. So I'm going to suggest this to anybody that's building a PC. Let's talk about the packaging. So it came in this little bag, Velcro bag. Everything is individual, all black. So it won't, you don't have all those weird ketchup and mustard colors, but man, it's packaged so nice. Here's the power supply itself. Again, it's just really high quality stuff. I mean, just this little carrying case alone, like, I don't even know why you would even need that, but it's just like real attention to detail. So again, check this out, dude. Thermaltake's a good brand. I've used a lot of their products, so real trustworthy. As you guys can see, rig is up and running. It's actually a couple of days later. I ran out of time messing with it and I kind of skipped some things, but the video's getting extremely long. But rig's running. There's still a few little things we need to do, like I need to sync these fans with these fans, and I need to upload Windows on here and download, you know, all the games and stuff. But man, pretty sleek. I'm happy with how it turned out. It's kind of like the all black. I might change these fans to white. Might do white and red since it matches the graphics card. But I don't know yet. But real simple, real sleek, tons of power. The tempered glass is cool. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video. It's kind of long. I might make another video like uploading Windows and like downloading the games and stuff from the computer. Not entirely sure yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and just close this one out. It's been long enough. If you watched this long, I appreciate it. Thanks. It does help. Definitely going to try to put the sim together this weekend and try to get that rolling, and we can start getting fun on that.